I mean, you can't be holier than the Pope. I don't get your point. My point is that they're taking their cues from Israelis. The two-state solution thing didn't start on the Upper West Side. It started with Israelis.
Which I've shared with you, and on which I've changed since October 7th, that how are we going to have dominion over a couple of million Palestinians? How are we going to do that?
Right.
And there's no real answer for that.
But there are multiple answers.
Well, I mean, short of expulsion or something.
No. Well, one is very simply
Sort of expulsion.
expel the 300,000 jihadist radicals, and then we're left with 1.7 million people who are, who can be part of the society. That's one. Another is a confederation where they are citizens of Jordan, citizens of Egypt. I don't know. I mean, yes, Shuki would have the most extreme situation, But unfortunately, I don't see the mechanics of doing it, So those are some thoughts, but there are multiple ways. I just laid out 2 or 3, It is a challenge. But it beats the alternative. The alternative is to have a Palestinian homeland in Gaza and Judea Samaria that is constantly at war with Israel, that's being run by Iran, that has rockets all over, tunnels constantly being dug. I mean, that is the worst case. That's worse than any of the other ones. Because it's not going to be, they won't agree to the terms that Israel has put out there, which is a demilitarized state with monitoring systems. They've just won't agree. They want a state that they can wage a war from. And that's why we're in this conundrum. Hey, come on in. We'll sit over behind you when you come in. Thanks. Have a seat. I'll talk to you in a few minutes.
Well, I think it's very difficult when you have a liberal society with liberal neighbors, right? And with a bunch of illiberal people that want to come into the state. I mean, you can't. A liberal society where you have gay rights, individual rights, and religious freedom.
Go ahead, Scott. I'm going to
What you would think of as normal, right, in the West. I mean, not normal globally, because most societies probably are not Western liberal by our standards. But when you've got a society,
Hello?
you can't bring in
Hello?
massive illiberal
Hello?
people, right, and still have a
Hello?
democracy. You just can't have that.
Hello?
It's not gonna.
Hello? Hello?
I mean, one advantage America has with our border, and we can debate the southern border and how secure it should be, and how permeable it should be. But the people that come through the southern border love America. Right? They want America to Americans. They want to work for jobs. They're mostly Roman Catholic or Protestant. They want to be Americans, right? They don't want to undermine American society. They want to sort of be more American than the average American. That's what they do. Right? I mean, that works, right? That revitalizes their nice. I don't see as many of your isn't this sort of where the DSA folks are here?
Yeah, it is, and that's sort of like a little renegades of, yeah, like they didn't learn from 60 million dead between the Soviet Union and China. Like socialism just doesn't work. Parts of it do, like the Nordic countries have got a pretty interesting take on, you know, applying it around social services, but not the, you know, eliminating the ownership of the means of production or making the means of production state-run.
I think the right of Reagan's victory, right, was when it was the Clinton presidency, right? When your opposition takes on your mantle, right? When Clinton says, "There, government, you found my check," you know, welfare reform. Clinton had his own version of Doge, right, which was actually successful. I mean, if you believe in that kind of government efficiency, it's successful. That has led to Reaganite winning, right? Saying like, look, he's running to embrace us. Now, I don't think any Democrat would do that, right? I mean, no Democrat would fashion themselves after Reagan or Clinton. I mean, in fact, Clinton now, I think among mainstream Democrats is looked at as the betrayal, right? The one that let the fox into the henhouse.
You mean the guy that allowed conservative ideology to infect the second term?
Yes, and you know, by most accounts, I mean, look, I think if you're a sort of non-ideological person, you look at that and say, this is success, right? I mean, you wind up with a two-term presidency that I think most people, again, that are not overly ideological, look at Clinton as relatively successful, right? As a good 8 years.
Well, if you look at the difference between him and Obama doubled down when he got the message, when he got his shellacking in the midterms, when he got his message that the country wanted a bit of moderation. So then he pulled out his pen and his phone and said that he responded to executive orders. I think, at least he said he was.
Yeah, and he didn't have the partners that Clinton had. I don't think he had Clinton's capacity to reach across the aisle, or hands across the aisle. Clinton had things about him.
Clinton was a much more experienced politician, like much more. And maybe also had a broader vision. No, I think community organizers, that's a very political position. You know, I think at a very wealth level. Like, yeah, very large wealth of information.
But Obamacare, he did. I mean, look, he did not come at the Republicans when they left the program, right? I mean, he took something that was originally a Heritage Foundation idea, right? This was when Hillary was thinking a more single-payer healthcare reform under Clinton's presidency. The Heritage Foundation floated policy, right? I mean, it was a sort of centrist and somewhat center right, right? I mean, the big critique of it, I think, would be it was a blowjob to the insurance companies, right? I mean, to get some concessions from the insurance companies, you could argue, Obama gave up the store, right? To get sort of no precondition, pre-existing condition bias and stuff like that. I mean, this is not a sort of kind of left-wing, and I think the left would have wanted to do that, right? And nobody, I don't think anybody in the left is excited about Obamacare, right? I mean, people would want much more, either Medicare for all or single payer or something like that.
Well, this is the thing about the Confederated Republicans, and there's really broadly contrasting opinions from state to state. And so that's where you got things like what Hillary was saying, that, or by the way, what Obama said, that he's just essentially not interested in the people clutching their Bibles and guns. Or in the case of Hillary, the sexist, homophobic, Islamophobe, that sort of.
What he said was when people get anxious, some people tend to cling to their Bibles and their guns. And he's not wrong about that. It's just, you can't say that shit. People feel condescended when you say that shit.
Well, it is condescending.
Yes, and the left, I mean, look, this is the left. We are condescending. I think people, this is one of the reasons I think Trump, why so many on the right, so many evangelicals and folks in the middle of the country love Trump, because he punches back against condescending elitism, right? He's a one-man wrecking ball to that stuff.
I agree. I think the left has this notion of moral superiority in terms of their opinions are more refined, better, and more enlightened than conservatives.
And I think conservatives are condescending all the time, right? It's only the only condescension we're worried about now is condescension that right-wingers dislike. So the prime example of this is Vivek Ramaswamy over Thanksgiving, where he says white people spend too much time focused on sports and not enough time focusing on school. They spend more time focusing on education. They would have problems, which is just like patently what conservatives are doing all the time. It's exactly the same. That's fine, but that's because you're a condescending New Yorker. I've never been to Ohio. It's not great. But I'm just making the point that it's only a certain sort of condescension that is viewed as.
Well, one is a presidential candidate who eventually won, and one is a guy that most people couldn't even pronounce.
I mean, Trump is very condescending to cities, right? To people who live in cities.
How is he condescending?
He says that cities are hellholes.
I haven't heard him say that.
You've never heard him say that.
Hello?
Close your eyes and get comfortable. It's time to breathe deeply and relax completely. Breathe deeply and relax completely, allowing a quietness of spirit to come in. Feel the blood flowing through your arms and legs, through your body and mind. Relaxing, relaxing, relaxing. Take a deep breath. Hold it as long as you comfortably can. And then let it out slowly through slightly parted lips. And when the breath breath is all the way out. Contract your stomach muscles and push it even further out and further out. And then repeat this process of breathing deeply